As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
I got to go with Brandon Moore, former teammate, former roommate. I consider him to be a mentor. He was a senior whenever I was a freshman at OU, and then he had a medical and came back and played in 2001. Was a Sam backer for us. Was awesome. Had a good NFL career. Then we played together later as well. We're roommates again. Love this guy. He's a first-year head coach at the Colorado School of Mines. Was their defensive coordinator previously. Got the head coaching job. Actually interviewed for the UCO job here in OKC. But first-year head coach. He's got the Colorado School of Mines Division II playing in the national championship next week. Awesome. They beat the number 1 overall seed a week ago. Angelo State went down to their house, beat the hell out of them. And then they just ran through another team at home, and they will be playing, I believe, Ferris State, who's the defending national champs. They'll be playing them in McKinney, Texas next week for the D2 national championship. What an awesome year. Their quarterback, Colorado School of Mines quarterback, was up for I think it's called the Harlan Trophy, which is the D2 Heisman Trophy. I think the quarterback from Ferris State's the one that won it. So you're going to have those two teams going at it. It's going to be awesome, but I'm so proud of him in year 1, taking that team to the national championship. It's really cool.
That is, I'm relatively confident that's the first Colorado School of Mines reference in the history of the podcast. But that's awesome. So year 1 in just taking the squad to the national championship. No big deal.
No big deal. He's obviously got a really good quarterback, which it's an awesome school, by the way, that I didn't know of until he started coaching there a couple years back as the linebacker coach and D coordinator. It's in Golden, Colorado. Coors family helps fund the program. They're a well-funded Division II school, just beautiful, one of the best engineering schools in the country, and it's just so fun to see him have a ton of success there. Really, really cool.
That is awesome. I won't lie. One of my favorite activities is to try to predict who your winner and loser are going to be. Stunned you didn't go with the Lions. I mean, now I didn't know a former teammate of you was doing such big things. So right. But I was pretty shocked you didn't go with the Detroit Lions after them putting it on the Vikings.
They smoked the Vikings. Smoked them.
Dude, are the Lions like good? It seems like they're good now.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? There's such a the muscle memory with the Lions lends you to believe that anytime something good happens there, it's a fluke. It is not going to last. But I don't know, man. Dan Campbell he's an awesome dude. He's infectious. I don't know. They're fun to watch, man. They are. And what they've got, don't they have another high draft pick this year?
Yeah. Remember, they've got the Rams pick from the Goff trade.
Yeah, that's right.
So they have won 5 out of their last 6, with their only loss being Buffalo when they kicked the last second field goal to win it.
Yeah.
I think the Lions are good.
They're playing some ball now. Good defense. Aiden Hutchinson's been playing good up there on the D line. And threw it to Sewell, right?
That was awesome. Nothing like throwing game on the line. You're trying to ice the game not on the line, but you're trying to put the game away, right? You're trying not to have to punt it back to Minnesota. And you somehow get to a boot concept where you're throwing it to an offensive tackle in the flat.
Hey, you got to take
advantage. And then he just belly flops on the ground after the first down. It was incredible, man.
You got to have your draft picks making plays out there, right? They go with Sewell. Which how's he been? Is he done good? Is he?
Yeah.
You go with Sewell, then you add another defensive lineman, or you add a defensive lineman in the next year with Aiden Hutchinson. Good things happen when you build a team from the inside out. And my guess is they're going to continue to do that. I don't know. Maybe they'll go quarterback, but Goff seems to be doing pretty good for him.
I'm with you. I am with you. It's fun to watch the Lions succeed. Fun to watch. Now, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Had to go OU men's hoops.
Oof.
Took a tough one there, but that's a really, really good Arkansas team. They're top 10. I think they're number 9 in the country going into that game. Had the lead through a decent part of the first half. The BOK, like, I know that's in Tulsa, but that's an Arkansas venue, man. They have been filling up the house. It was heavy Arkansas fans there in the BOK, but yeah, couldn't get it done. You heard from Porter Moser at the end of the game. Turnovers, second chance points, points in the paint, points off cuts, didn't take care of the basketball. And we've got to have more guys play well in an atmosphere like that. So, they did some good things. They shot the ball well from 3, but they didn't have any answers for Arkansas in the paint.
I am not a basketball expert, but Arkansas's guys looked much more athletic than Oklahoma's guys, especially in that second half. You could like that. Nick Smith, like the length he had, the bounce he had, the council guy,
5-star freshman out there, right?
It's like you could just see the athleticism, the length. And this was the thing for me is like, as I watched again, like everything seems really difficult for Oklahoma when it comes to generating offense. And meanwhile, Arkansas, it was like layup, dunk, layup, dunk. It just seems like it came on the offensive end. It just came so much easier to the Razorbacks than it did to OU's guys. And not saying that OU's guys didn't put up a hell of a fight. They did. But that's an Arkansas team that just overall has a lot more athleticism than what Oklahoma's got from what I saw.
Yeah, there's been people throw it out that Arkansas is going to be a Final Four team this year, which the SEC hoops wise right now has got it going on. What you got, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Alabama, all 3 in the top 10. Plus you got Kentucky. It's like at 15 or 16. SEC's got a good basketball conference going right now.
Yeah, but I was really excited watching the first half. I was like, oh, let's go. Maybe they can knock off the top 10 team, but the lack of athleticism is what stood out to me. I will say I did like what we saw from Sherfield for the most part. Like it wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, but I thought a guy that is supposed to be like the go-to guy for this team, you mentioned the atmosphere. I felt like he stepped up in a lot of different moments, hit some nice shots.
Dude's still shooting like 55% from 3 this year, which, I've got to imagine that he's going to come back to the pack at some point, but he's still putting up some numbers, putting up points. But you're right, like the athleticism in the front court, and when Groves took that horrible final foul call, that kind of did us in there.
Yeah. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information.
And if you're a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you are doing. Head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage single malt whiskey. It was voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year round. Remember in 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners are from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. All right, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with penalty kicks, man. We got some good World Cup action.
No doubt.
Over the weekend. Some insanely late goals in stoppage time, injury time, whatever the hell you want to call it, that ends up forcing penalty kicks in some of these games. And two of the quarterfinals come down to PKs. Croatia, Brazil, Netherlands, Argentina. And I will say this. I absolutely love the suspense of penalty kicks. There's a ridiculous amount of time in between the penalty kicks, and the drama and the suspense just get to build. It's fantastic, Ted. It's must-see TV.
It is. That the Croatia-Brazil game was just incredible. How all that went into the extra time, obviously, and ended up in the PKs. It's a lot of fun, man. It really is. I don't know why they don't force a game to a resolution. I guess they don't want them to have to play those super long games, but after watching that, you feel like you're really being robbed whenever some of those games end in a draw, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. And like, I get so nervous for each guy. It's like, oh my gosh, if he kicks it off the post, the entire country's gonna hate him. Oh my God. Like there's so much on the line. Like I don't, it's different here because soccer isn't the show in this country. You know what I mean? Like it's not the main thing. You just got to realize like these guys are the most famous guys, most famous athletes in their country. Like, and it's all on the line on these penalty kicks. The pressure just has to be insane. I love it.
Have you ever taken a penalty kick?
I'm sure I did when I was like a little kid, but no, if recently, no. And I'd be worried for multiple muscles in my leg if I had to take one. But I'm pretty sure I'll say this. I would be the guy, hey, step up, take it confidently. None of the like creeping around the ball and trying to play mind games. No, I'm hammering that thing and putting it in a corner. Good luck stopping it, nerd. I
used to pound it like 100-mile-an-hour rocket directly at the goalie because they're guessing one side or the other, and I would just rip it straight at them. And it was successful. It worked.
Good. I like that technique. I like that strategy.
It was good.
But
it's fun though, man. I agree it's one of the best ways. It's a great overtime. I don't know that there's any other sport that really it's totally different than anything else.
I think we all wish that the games could just be decided during regulation, right? But out of any sports overtime, like it's by far the best.
Because everything else, you just basically continue playing. This is like a totally different thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like if basketball ended on like a 3-point contest or something. It's
just like one-on-one.
Right.
Yeah, just like games of one-on-one, right? You pick your best defender and they have to guard the other guys one-on-one. Like it's awesome, man. It really is.
I agree.
But my winner of the weekend, the Philadelphia Eagles. Whew. Damn.
Yep.
I mean, they look
they're a
good.
machine right now.
They smacked the Giants at MetLife 48-22, moves the Eagles to 12-1 on the season. They controlled the entire football game. I mean, they came out, punched the Giants in the face. It was 21-0 in the blink of an eye. And I was like, okay, this game's over. And they did not call the dogs off. They just kept scoring and scoring. But the Eagles defense is one thing. I thought that they played really well for some stretches. And, the Giants have some offensive limitations. That's no secret. But that Eagles offense, man, the way that O-line is playing, the way that the running game functions, with a guy as explosive as Miles Sanders, and then Jalen Hurts adding what he adds as a runner, especially down in the red zone. Hurts has become just a fantastic deep ball thrower now, whether it's Devontae Smith, that touchdown he had to him, there was a little luck involved in that one. Safety kind of jumped a little early, but he's finding A.J. Brown. He's awesome. Ted, I never thought he'd be this. Like, he's playing out of his mind, and the Eagles are an absolute problem, dude.
Yep. No, they are. He's clean, he's efficient, and he can run the football, but he's not Cam Newton, but he is a large, physically impressive, durable runner of the football, right?
This is the thing about him.
Stuff. Yeah.
This is the thing about him for me. He would be, if he wasn't a quarterback, he'd be playing in the NFL at another position.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how well built and athletic he is.
Yeah. No, I agree. You just, there will come a time where you worry about his durability, and he's had that ankle issue. Seems like he's moved past that. But other than that, the dude he's an impressive physical specimen that, you can have him factor into the running game. And in the NFL, whenever it changes the dynamic really quickly. And, that's why it's so hard to play defense in college footballs, is a lot of it has to do with the quarterback run game. And in the NFL, whenever these offenses roll around where the quarterback run game is a big factor, it's tough to stop, man. It really is.
Yeah, the Eagles ended up rushing for 253 yards.
Which is like a college equivalent of rushing for 500 yards, basically.
Yeah,
that is rare to run for 250 in the NFL.
That is a massive number that is going to have a lot of people in the New York Giants organization very sad. So, Hurts, he's got to be right up there when it comes to front runner for NFL MVP. The guy is playing fantastic football. For my loser of the weekend, thought about going with Mike White. That man was in a couple car wrecks against Buffalo. And give the guy a lot of credit. Showed a ton of toughness, coming back a couple times in that game. I think his teammates are going to respect the hell out of him for getting back out there after a couple of those hits he took. But, dude, he got absolutely blasted a couple of times. And hits were as legal as they could be, man. But he got smoked. It was the ultimate example of, oh, you want to play quarterback in the NFL. Okay. This is what it can look like. That offensive line was doing him no favors, dude. Like, he was getting rocked by that Bills defensive front. Oh my gosh.
It's funny that he came back in the game. It reminds me of the, because I happened to watch it this week, the Jeff Brom XFL. How are you coming back in the game after a hit like that? Let me answer that by asking you two questions. Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes. Do I or do I not have a pulse? Yes. Let's play some football. Is that what Mike White interview did? Have you ever seen that hit?
Yeah.
He looks dead.
The guy would be out for like at least a month now.
At least.
And he was back out there. Just a lot of things have changed for good reasons.
He came back on the sideline in that game with the neck brace on. It's great.
But yeah, so great job, Mike White. But man, that looked painful. That did not look fun. Also thought about going with the Tennessee Titans. Got smacked by the Jaguars. And we talked about the odd move last week of them firing their general manager, and they did not play well. You can't turn the ball over in the National Football League. You even that's one of the few times I've seen Derrick Henry just absolutely get rocked and fumble the football. That I feel like that doesn't happen to him very often. But what they lose the turnover batter 4-0. That's how you lose to the Jaguars at home.
Yep, that's it. That's brutal. Rarely, if ever, in the NFL are you gonna forget 4 turnovers to 0, but rarely do you lose it at all. 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is. It's hard to lose the turnover battle and win in the NFL. You lose at 4-0, you might as well walk off the field at that point and go home.
Yeah. So a disappointing performance from the Titans, but my loser of the week, and it's just because we've talked about how important this stretch is when it comes to recruiting and the transfer portal and getting your team ready for the bowl game and all that. So I've got Mississippi State as my loser of the week. Do you see this stuff about Mike Leach?
No, I didn't, honestly.
I mean,
it's not shocking though. He hasn't sounded good recently.
Yeah, he's had that cough and that whole thing. But I guess it sounds like a pretty scary situation. So Mississippi State released a statement, and they said that he had a personal health issue at his home on Sunday. They ended up transferring him to a hospital in Jackson via ambulance, and that's really all the information that's been given. Other than their defensive coordinator, Zach Arnett, he'll be running things until Leach is back. But I mean, you talk about a bad time to have a health issue, man.
It is.
And first and foremost, let's hope that Mike Leach is just all right, right? We don't know how severe this was, what happened. Is it a heart thing? I mean, we don't know. But this is a crucial couple weeks in the college football calendar. And to have your head coach laying in a hospital bed instead of out recruiting and trying to do all those things, like that's rough, man. This the timing. It's never a good time to have an emergency medical event that you end up in the hospital. Never a good time for it. But this, from a college coaching perspective, is an awful time for this to happen to Mississippi State's head coach.
It is. It's not good. Yeah, this is whenever the typically the head coach is, some of the busiest he is all year, going out, seeing recruits, hosting visits to transfer portal guys coming into town, obviously figuring things out for whatever your bowl game may or may not be. Yeah, it's super busy. You need your guys active. But you're right. Like I hope he's okay. Has not looked healthy lately. And I don't know if there's been something going on like long term, or if this is just something that hit him surprisingly. But yeah, it's not good. Hope he's okay.
Yeah. So all the positive vibes and prayers Mike Leach's way. Seems like a scary situation, but some awful timing as well.